My friends actually know what actually do speeches. How did they fit my essay?
Wait, no, wait, I thought that there's...
Oh no, you're okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jenna Ludke. I am the Director of Interfaith and Intercultural Dialogue at the Rumi Forum here in Washington, D.C. It's wonderful to have you all with us here in the nation's capital. We have a beautiful welcome for you. As you've all seen, the cherry blossoms are blooming. And as you all probably witnessed on your way over here, we have quite a few folks here in Washington rallying for comprehensive immigration reform, which is a nod to the theme of your essay contest. So the theme this year is hospitality in the global village. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce our first presenter, who will give the third place win, and that would be Congressman Scott Peters. Please welcome him to the stand to say a few words and to present the award.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. I'm very, very proud to be here, represent the communities of San Diego, Coronado, and Poway. And I was just pleased to be able to present this award to Vaishnavi Rao, one of my constituents in the Carmel Valley area. I want to say two things. First, I did my best to wear my Raven's tie, because she is a Canyon Crest Raven, a school I helped open when she was, I think, probably a second grader when I was on the city council. And we're very, very proud of her accomplishments. She faces difficult choices in her life. She's got to decide between Yale, Princeton, and MIT in the next few days. She's obviously going to be very successful, interested in neuroscience. We're very, very proud of a product of San Diego, Vaishnavi, and all the good work you did. Congratulations.
All right, now I would like to introduce Congresswoman Susan Brooks of Indiana, and she will present the award to Shannon Scott from Cathedral High School. Please welcome the Congresswoman.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Susan Brooks from the 5th District of Indiana, which is Indianapolis and to the north, 8 counties, and I'm very proud to be here today to present to Shannon Scott, a senior at Cathedral High School, this award from the Institute for her paper. As I understand, it is an incredibly competitive process, and I'm very impressed for those of you who have won this award. I think you are the hope for the future. That is the reason I ran for office. I'm the mother of a 19 and a 22-year-old, and we just learned that we have mutual friends. We had not met before today because she's an Irish dancer as well, and so our kids have friends that are close to her. And I've not had the opportunity to read her paper, but I look forward to reading her paper. I just asked her for a copy of her paper, and I look forward to reading through the different papers that you all have written. It is a global economy. It is a global world. We are in a competition around the world, but yet if we do not have a better understanding, as I understand, have more of a a culture of hospitality and how we treat each other in this world, that is the best way we can solve these world's problems. And I think it is fabulous that you all have competed for this. You have all won this very most impressive award, and I'm so honored that someone in my district is standing out while she's going to be a freshman at The Ohio State University, not in our home state of Indiana. You know, we look forward, we're going to be sharing her with Ohio, as I understand. But I think it's so very important. I'm on the Homeland Security Committee, and I'm also in Education and Workforce, and those are committees here in Congress, and I'm a new member of Congress. I'm a freshman member of Congress. So I've been on the job about 90 days. And I will, share with you that as long as you continue to learn and be willing to learn and have a culture and a philosophy of a lifetime of learning, then this country, our world, will be a far better place. And I'm so impressed and honored that Shannon Scott is receiving this fine award, and congratulations to all of the recipients. Congratulations.
Award out, and then we can have the Congresswoman and you frame, kind of stand like that. Wonderful. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to ask Emra Celik, President of the Rumi Forum, my organization, to come and say a few welcoming remarks.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rayburn on behalf of the Gulen Institute and the Rumi Forum. I'm both privileged to be partaking this evening, and I'm honored to be amongst such distinguished young thinkers. Of course, you may have seen, and I know you're a little late, because of the same issue you addressed in your essays. The crowds outside depict the very important issue of immigration. It is not only a local issue in DC, it is a national issue, it is a global issue. I myself, I'm actually a two-time immigrant because my parents immigrated to Australia and now I've immigrated to the United States. So I have some experience, both genetically and personally. And I would want each and every one of you to take something away from this process, this rigorous, both creative and intellectual process, that you play an important part in the communities that you belong to help bring about positive change in regards to immigration. So I believe that this is very important in what the Gulen Institute does, and what we support through their activities is that the thought processes continue and that we fine-tune issues regarding the rights and the privileges of immigrants all over the world. Again, welcome to the Hill, to Washington, D.C., to those of you from overseas, to the United States, and again, congratulations, and I look forward to your future successes, particularly in regards to work on policy and immigration issues. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to now ask. Yes. Okay. Congressman Gene Green has just walked into the room. Please welcome.
Well, thank you for inviting me, and it's a pleasure to be here. In fact, I have a little, since I represent Houston, Texas, and I graduated the University of Houston, and the relationship between the Gulen Institute and the University of Houston for many years. And I want to welcome you to Washington. The Turkish American community in my area in Houston, Texas is very vibrant and active in lots of different areas. And the Gulen Institute actually helps us bring more people to understand the relationship between Turkey and the United States. And that's why I'm happy to be here and happy to welcome you to Washington. And I know there'll be some other events going on this evening, but like I said, I didn't even notice the sign said University of Houston, so that's great. My wife and I are both graduates of the University of Houston, so we're proud to be here in the partnership for many years between the Institute and our community, and particularly our university. There's a lot of things that go on, building understanding between peoples. It's working in the Houston area, and again, the Gulen Institute does it in a lot of other locations in our country. So, but again, welcome to Washington, welcome to our youth. We just need to continue to build on this over 50-year relationship between the Republic of Turkey and the United States of America. So thank you.
Just want to mention that Congressman Green is the co-chair of this essay contest, and if he can, I'd like him to stick around to present an award. Would that be possible, sir?
I knew I
Would
was
you?
supposed to.
Yeah,
I just didn't know what
absolutely,
the program
absolutely.
was.
So I think they have the information.
Is this the first place, or? It is.
Yes, it is.
George Abraham? Oh, there you are. Okay. I'm honored to present you a certificate award for first place winner to George Abraham from the Stanton College Preparatory High School in Florida for an essay excellent response to the topic, Hospitality in the Global Village. Frankly, we could use that in Congress. Congratulations. That's what that was.
I do that because Congressman Scott was supposed to and didn't. So
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
He's third.
Brian Lee. Brian Lee. A certificate award for the top 30 essay categories for Brian Lee from Walnut High School in California. Again, an excellent essay response to the topic, Hospitality in a Global Village. Congratulations on your award.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd now like to introduce Tom Gage of Humboldt University, who's going to speak a bit about this contest in the Gulen Institute. Please welcome him.
Thank you very much, Jenna. I'm Tom Gage, and for the last 4 years, it has been my fortune and honor to be the chair of the youth platform of the Gulen Institute at University of Houston. I'd like to provide you with a little bit of a context of how this came about, because I think it's one of the most remarkable programs I've ever come across. I have been teaching for 52 years, and most of my mission in my profession has been to bring people together to foster goodwill and mutual understanding. But what I found 4 years ago when I first participated at the University of Houston in the first program that only involved 6 winners was a model, I think a model that can be used for the future in order to bring people together. Last year, we had 65 nations with students participating in the contest. I think this year it's a little bit less. This year we have winners from Turkey, Romania, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Sweden, Burkina Faso, Afghanistan, who was not able to be here tonight, Qatar, Nepal, India, Nepal, Bangladesh, India, Japan, Thailand, and Hong Kong. China. Anybody? Did I miss anybody? Korea, I'm sorry. Korea, I beg your pardon. So we have these students who have written to this prompt, and perhaps a little bit later I'll talk about the prompt and how the students addressed it. I think we have perhaps a congressman coming in right now, so I might not go into it at the moment. But these students have written these essays, submitted them to Texas, to Houston, where they were evaluated, and they were ranked. I think this group this year is the most outstanding that I have encountered in the 4 years that I've participated in the youth platform. I found that their essays were analytical. They had a kind of originality of voice and a brilliant point of entry into the discourse itself. I'm looking for a signal. Congressman Barr is here, who is going to be presenting his award to Benjamin Swanson from Indiana. Kentucky. I have to explain. My pleasure. I'm sorry for putting
No problem.
By the way, not a good,
Thank you very much. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much.
must be said.
Well, thank you very much to the Institute, and it is an honor to be with each and every one of you and for the mission of the Institute and what this organization represents in extending hospitality and cultural and cross-cultural awareness and the importance of that, not only here in this country but globally. This is a very important mission. And I want to tell you, I am very, very proud to be here with one of my constituents, a bright young man who represents the Commonwealth of Kentucky very, very well, Benjamin Swanson. And this award was presented to him for an excellent essay in response to the topic, Hospitality in the Global Village. Benjamin was telling me about the thesis of his paper and the right kind of policy for immigration and cultural understanding, and that diversity is our strength here in the United States. And I want to just say one more thing about our alma mater. Benjamin attends Henry Clay High School in Lexington, Kentucky, which was my alma mater. Henry Clay was known as the great compromiser. He was a statesman. And one thing that Henry Clay stood for was diplomacy and beneficial compromise. And that is the embodiment of what Benjamin is writing about. And so he would make the great compromiser, the statesman Henry Clay, very, very proud. And it's my honor to award this a certificate of award, the top 30 essays category, to Benjamin Swanson of Lexington, Kentucky.
Go Louisville. Cardinals. Now I have the pleasure, and I would like to introduce Her Excellency. She's recently to Washington. The Ambassador of Bosnia-Herzegovina, Adranka Nagodic. She will be giving the award to Amina Tulic.
Okay. Thank you for the invitation to be here. It's really my pleasure. As it's been said, I've been here 6 months, so I'm still getting used to live in Washington. But one of the moments I really love the most is to work with the young people and to have the opportunity to present them rewards which they really deserved, and wish all the best, all the students, but of course especially to Amina. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Congressman Pete Olson is in the room. He will be presenting the award to Kerem Farishta. Please welcome Congressman Pete Olson.
Well, good evening. As we say in Texas, howdy, y'all. It is my honor to give the Gulen Institute Youth Platform Award to Kareem Farishta from my hometown of Sugar Land, Texas. Kareem attends the high school that my kids are zoned for, Clements High School, the proud Rangers. The theme of this year's essays was about migrants and some of the challenges they face in their new homes, their new countries. Kareem had an advantage that many of y'all didn't have, because Kareem and I live in the most diverse county in America. There's no one more diverse than Fort Bend County. I just want to commend each and every one of you who participate in this great program. Our world is a better place because of y'all. On behalf of Kareem and his two parents are here with him, we invite you to come down to Sugar Land, Texas. We'll get you a cowboy hat, get you a cowboy belt, and most importantly, get you some cowboy boots. Congratulations. Thank you. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Missed it.
Yeah, let me take the award out, and we can have a picture with, on the cover here, so that we just sort of in between.
I'll keep the check.
Yeah, there you go. We can just lay it on top like that, tight check, and then lose it. Okay.
Can I ask the essayists and members of Congress that are here and Ambassador, Madam Ambassador, to please come back up to the front. We're going to have a group picture very quickly. So if you could all, essayists, please come on up to the front. Right here, we'll have a group picture very quick. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can have your attention again. It's my honor to introduce Congressman Gallego to present the award to Gulen Shim of South Korea. Please welcome Congressman Gallego.
Well, hello. And my name is Pete Gallego. As you've heard, I represent the 23rd District in Texas, which if you're looking at a map of Texas, it's actually just under 24% of the land area of Texas. It's 800 miles of border. It's all the territory between San Antonio and El Paso. And I have to say that you've heard from my fellow Texan, and there's such a difference in Texas, because out where I live is where the mountains are and where the high country is, and where we don't really have very many traffic lights. And so it's in my view, I represent the most beautiful part of Texas, but I know that all 36 of us say that our parts are all beautiful, but mine is really beautiful. So, having said that, I will tell you that it is my pleasure and my privilege to present the award for second place. And I want to, before I do that, I want to congratulate all of you for participating, because this is such a cool program. And, frankly, this idea of making the world a better place, and if we all knew each other and worked together and understood each other's cultures and each other's backgrounds, what a difference it would be if everybody actually took the time to, from the ground up, participate in seminars and organizations like the one that you're doing. And I commend all of you for participating. So let me, at this point, the second place winner is from South Korea. Certainly a country that those of us here in the United States keep at the forefront of our thoughts these days, and the forefront of our thoughts and our prayers. And so let me present the second place award to Guam Shim of South Korea. And another Texan
Ladies and gentlemen, now I'd like to introduce Congressman Al Green. He's going to give the award to Thomas Dodsworth of Canada and Tuong Phi Lee of USA. Please welcome Congressman Green. Yes, right in front of me. Is it?
How did you pronounce it?
You're probably right. Tuong Phi, and then, yeah, Thomas Dodsworth.
Both of these are just.
Both of them,
Okay.
yeah, so, yeah,
Okay.
probably one at a time.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm honored to be with you. I see my colleague, the Honorable Pete Olson, is still here. I don't know whether you've given him an expression of appreciation or not, but we like to acknowledge each other. Would you kindly give him an expression, my colleague Pete Olson? And my other colleague has made his way rather quickly out of the room, so I don't see him. But in his absence, I think he did an outstanding job with his award that he presented. The Honorable Pete Gallego, would you give him another expression of appreciation? And I'm honored to be here today because this organization truly does bring people together. I've seen the evidence of it in Houston, Texas. You have an annual walk. I don't do the entirety of the walk, but I do some of it. And I'm also honored that you are very diverse in your approach to dispute resolution, which is important. I think that we live in a world that needs a lot of attention, and I think you're providing much of the attention that the world needs. So I thank you for being here today. I thank you for what you do in my district, and I have two awards that I will be presenting. The first one is to Thomas Dodsworth from Canada. Would you come up, Thomas, please? I'm looking for the check, Thomas. They say there's money.
We'll take the award out and
Okay.
put it on the cover,
Okay.
and then get the photo shot.
Okay, can we put this on the cover here?
Like that, yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, and if you'll just stay for a moment, because we have one other. The next is from Tuong Phi Lee, who happens to live in my congressional district. Would you give her a big hand, please, USA? Now, may I get one with both? Yeah.
Once you get on the other side, you put the flowers in the middle.
Now I'll have to
Let me parenthetically say that Congressman Green was at the very first youth platform at Houston.
Campus of University of Houston, wasn't it?
That's right.
Yes.
So good to see you
I was
again.
there. Thank you. It's my
4 years
honor.
ago,
Thank you. Thank
2010.
you. God bless you, everybody. Thank you.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, would you now please welcome the Deputy Chief of Mission from the Japanese Embassy, Koji Tomita. He will be presenting Shum Yamaya, their award.
Well, thank you very much, and I thank organizer for allowing me to be the part of this very worthy event. And before coming here, I was attending the congressional reception for Cherry Blossom Festivals, and this has been a very big week for our embassy for the international exchanges, and that gives me a special pleasure in presenting this award to Shun, who is a great ambassador for our country in this project. And that said, without much ado, I'll present this award to Shun. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Deputy Chief of Mission Arun Kant Mainali from the Embassy of Nepal, who will be giving Aisha Walla her award.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here with you all this evening, and I thank the organization. And after all, I'm really, proud of my countryman, Ashish Junjunwala. I invite him. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please now welcome Behij Hatip Olu from the Turkish Embassy, who will be presenting Hussein Furkan Karacham his award. Here we go. I was thinking, you could be there, but hopefully later. If you want to, can you say something? Okay. Him and then a photo op. Is that okay for you? Now please welcome the Social Affairs Attaché, Karim Kabour, from the Embassy of Burkina Faso. Presenting Madeleine Shafto from Burkina Faso, her award. Thank you so very much. Did you want to turn your V? Did you want to say a few words? Or? Oh, okay. Please welcome Councillor Magnus Ryden from the Embassy of Sweden to present Jacob Lageros, his award.
Hey, that is hi in Swedish. So, hey everyone. Hey, yeah, very good. I just wanted to say that we are very proud from the Swedish Embassy side. I believe Jakob Karlsson Lagerros, you are the first Swedish awardee of the Gulen Institute Youth Platform, and we are very proud of you. You're a great ambassador for Sweden, and let me just say that we are very pleased to be here, and thank you to the University of Houston and the Gulen Institute. And it's now my honor to hand over the award to Jakob Karlsson Lagerros from Stockholm, Sweden.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome First Secretary Suchata Makhtara from the Royal Thai Embassy to present Dennis Schurch from Thailand, his award.
Good evening, everyone. And on behalf of the Royal Thai Embassy, I would like to congratulate Dennis Church, and we are very pleased to have the representation from Thailand to win this prestigious award of the essays competition among the more than 500 essays competed. So may I present you the award.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Congressman Pete Olson once again to present the award to Pooja Joshi and Ruben Kataki.
I'm back. A great honor to present these awards to two outstanding young people who make a difference in our country. First of all, Pooja Joshi from the United States of America. Where's your home, Pooja? North Carolina. What part of North Carolina, ma'am? Raleigh, North Carolina. I spent 1 year of my life in Asheville, North Carolina. The Great Smoky Mountains. Beautiful, beautiful place. And also Ruben Kataki from our neighbor to the north, Canada. A very great neighbor, a very great ally. Many of y'all might not realize it, but in the war against terror in Afghanistan, there's one country that's had almost 300 of their brave men die fighting for all of our freedom. that is the country of Canada. And again, I want to say thank you to the Gulen Institute and thank you to the University of Houston. I mentioned with my good friend here that my county, Fort Bend County, is the most diverse county in America. Guess what city is the most diverse large city in America? Houston, Texas. It's my pleasure to give these two awards. So come on up here, Pooja. Two checks.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome First Secretary Ahmed Turki Al-Sobai, and he is from the Embassy of the State of Qatar. He'll be presenting Bilal Akbar with his award. So here you are. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to now welcome to the podium our third place essayist to read her essay, Vaishnavi Rao. Please welcome her. Exactly. You're just going to talk about it and read it.
Right. My name is Vaishnavi Rao, and I'm from San Diego, California. I'm a high school senior, and I'm honored to be here today to receive the third place award for the Gulen Institute's essay. So my essay is about the immigration issue in Assam, India, and Assam is on the northeastern tip of India. It's recently witnessed a great influx of immigrants from neighboring country, Bangladesh. And I'd like to just give a small couple of lines of history of India. And before and during British hegemony, actually India was one unified country. The countries we know today called Bangladesh, Pakistan, and India were all actually united. However, they're now independent, as we can see from maps very clearly. And a lot of this influx of immigration into India is a result of the economic opportunities that are available. So my essay focused primarily on this and the reaction of the Indian and the Assamese government to this issue. And so I actually became very interested in this topic because as an Indian American, I've had many opportunities to go visit India, and it's a great, thriving place. You see unity and diversity everywhere. So I was a little bit shocked to hear about these issues and to read about them. I wondered if this was describing the same India that I know and love. But it is, the home of famous activist Mahatma Gandhi. And Gandhi's principles of self-sufficiency, nonviolence, are very integral to Indian society. So I hope that his ideas can be integrated in order to help solve these issues that we see today. Some of the solutions that I proposed and suggested involved having the Assam government acknowledge the issue of this influx of immigration and recognize its seriousness and its impact on the native indigenous tribes in the area. And then the next step is to work on behalf of the people to ease tensions and unify the two groups. So for this, the governments of both the countries, namely India and Bangladesh, can come together to work on an amicable accord that is strategic in nature and preserves both the security and the prosperity of both the nations. I'd like to say again, as an Indian American, I'm very happy that I've been able to get what I consider the best of both worlds. I like to sing Indian classical Carnatic music, but I also play the viola in my school orchestra. And sometimes I like to dabble playing Indian classical tunes on the viola. Even my cousins are very much integrating several different cultures. For instance, one of my Indian cousins married a German and is now very happily pursuing her job in Germany. So thank you very much, and I really think that I'm optimistic about India's future, and I think that stream of unity can really be achieved in the future, and it would be fortunate to be part of a government that is able to solve this problem. Thank you very much. I'd also like to thank the Gulen Institute and the University of Houston for encouraging us to pursue these essays and these interesting topics. Thank you again.
Stay here for just a second. So Congressman Pete Olson has written a nice note for you. Thank you for allowing me to meet the first female Indo-American president of the United States. Wow.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So inspiring. I want to just take a moment to also thank all the parents and the teachers and role models that had a place in our essayist lives and in them being here today. So please give them all a round of applause, will you? Now I would like to ask our second essay finalist, Gulen Shim of South Korea, to come.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Shim, or Gulen Shim, that's my full name. And yes, before I give this presentation, I would all like you to know that my words look much more fancier in that book that you all have, so this is just a summary. So I'll be very colloquial in this. Okay, as you all know, I come from Korea, and this means that I come from a nation where 95% of the population are all in ethnicity and in both in nationality, like Korean. So 50 million people basically share the same culture. And what this means with this cultural unity, this common culture, what it means is that when different people come, whether they're refugees, whether they're foreign students or any immigrants, they kind of make them uncomfortable. This difference makes them uncomfortable. They're used to what we already have, and when difference comes in, it always makes them a little bit jumpsy. And some even go on to say that these people are actually threatening the national cultural unity. And this is basically the same problem that we had in Syria, which was the topic of my essay. And although refugees, since the Crusades and the 30-Year War, refugees have always been in place, but in Syria, the place that which I focused most in my essay was also a case in which this cultural unity was threatened. So in Syria right now, the government and the anti-governmental forces are having this great military conflict to oust each other from the office. And this fight led to over 200,000 refugees spilling over into Jordan, Turkey, and all those other nations. And these people, the host and the guest, so in this case, the host will be Jordan, Turkey, and those nations, while the guests are the Syrians. These people are in a total deadlock. So refugees want a better condition. They want them to be more free in this Jordan, Turkey, and other nations. But the hosts think that they should be restricted into a certain region so they can be contained because of safety. But more than this economic and social issues, this cultural concept, this cultural factor, that these Syrian refugees are threatening the Jordan and Turkish cultural identities is also a great problem. But I wrote in my essay that this concept of cultural unity is almost absurd because look back in world history, look at the Ming dynasty, look at the Islamic nations, and look at the Romans. They've always been formed by external influences. So without these refugees, without these foreign guests, their great civilizations, their great cultures, they could never have been built one day. So I believe that in order to make these people actually come to reconciliation, that they will not oust each other and they would not be so hostile over this culture, is not to let these refugees become more participants in the society. So we could teach them language, we could teach them to how to kind of reconcile with these people, the host nation, and we can help them get jobs inside the nations which they have escaped into. So as we all say, we're afraid of the unknown. So this is basically why the children are so afraid of the dark, why we're afraid to go to new places. This is because we don't know them yet. And if we can get to know them, if we can know who the refugees actually are, I believe that we will no longer be afraid of this refugees and the whole cultural influx. So yes, this is what my essay was basically about. Thank you for listening to me, and yes, have a great evening. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Guan. All right, I would like to now ask the first place essayist, George Abraham of Florida, to come and talk to us about his essay.
Hello, everyone. All right. I did a little bit. I'm not going to actually read my entire essay to you guys because I wanted to spare you guys from listening to me for 20 minutes. I'm going to start off in a little bit of a different way than the other contestants did. I'm going to start off with a poem, actually. What is poetry, which does not save nations or people? A connivance with official lies? A song of drunkards whose throats will be cut in a moment? Readings for sophomore girls? That I wanted good poetry without knowing it. That I discovered late its salutary aim. In this, and only this, I find salvation. They used to pour millet on graves or poppy seeds to feed the dead who would come disguised as birds. I put this book here for you who once lived, so that you should visit us no more. Warsaw, 1945. The piece I've just read is Czesław Miłosz's dedication. And Miłosz is a Polish poet, which I've studied last semester in a very seminar-style English class at my high school. And I've got to know him very well over studying him for an entire semester. He stood out to me because he was an immigrant from Poland after the Warsaw Crisis in World War II, when the Nazis invaded Warsaw. And unlike a lot of places, Warsaw actually took up an underground resistance and fought back. But obviously the machinery and the outnumbered of the Nazis, gave the Nazis an unfair advantage to this. However, Calvin Bediant, a literary critic, comments on how Miłosz's poetry is, quote, more valuable than journalism in its subjectivity, because sometimes if we want to try to understand history in a more humanistic way, objectivity is a hindrance, because as Wisława Szymborska, another famous Polish poet, says, history rounds off at the thousands, whereas Miłosz's poems give the gruesome, gritty details of war. However, after the crisis, Miłosz ended up emigrating to the United States, and his poems changed so drastically. He wrote a bunch of witty, lighthearted, satirical works, and this shift kind of demonstrates that maybe sometimes poetry can sort of act as a cultural amnesia, because sometimes when disastrous events such as war occur, immigrants need to go on and to forge authentic new lives. Now, there's another poet we studied in our English class, Anna Akhmatova, who was she's a Russian poet, and she was an acmeist under Stalin's regime. And she was persecuted for the nostalgic qualities of her writing because those didn't fit into Stalin's socialist realism criteria. However, she stayed in her country despite the persecution, and she even wrote, her son was imprisoned for her protesting of the government through her poetry. They said, if we imprison you, and if we kill you, you will be a martyr to the cause. Everyone will think of you as a hero. So instead, we'll make you feel guilty by taking your son and imprisoning him. And there's nothing you can do. There's nothing he can do. He did nothing, and he is innocent being imprisoned in this gulag. And he was in there for 2 years, and every day, her and a crowd of Russians would actually stand outside of the gulag, waiting for news. I mean, even just waiting to hear that their beloved was dead or alive. And he ended up, surviving the gulag. And she wrote this poem, The Requiem, which is arguably the most emotional, harrowing work I've ever read in my life, about those 2 years and about those who stood in the gate. And it ends with this image of snow falling on an angel sculpture, and the snow is melting as if the angel is eternally crying, and that eternal crying represents the sorrow that these people went through. And now, so in her case, she stayed in her country, so her story kind of demonstrates that maybe immigration might be the best way for people to move on past atrocity, because she was severely persecuted when she did not immigrate. And so in all of this discussion on immigration, this kind of begged the question, what about the host countries themselves? What are host countries to do to respond to these immigrants? Now, if we look at nations such as the United States of America, which hosts many immigrants, we can see that our cultures tend to form, melting pot type of culture, where our culture is based off of various different ethnicities and how these influence our, things. For example, like jazz music is the, quote, original American music. Well, in fact, jazz music was founded off of African traditions, such improvisation. One of the main concepts, one of the main core of jazz music is an African tradition of music. And this jazz movement led to further embellishments such as atonality and chants music, which are more modern music developments in the American music industry. So this kind of example just makes us think, if we as a host nation are not going to be accepting of immigrants' culture, we would be nowhere. We are nothing without the cultures of everyone coming with us. So in that respect, I have actually crafted a poetry piece myself. I'm a poet back at home. I'm president of our spoken word poetry club, and that's why I decided to write on poetry, because I love writing poetry, and I love reading poetry. And when I saw this, poetry is a very excellent indicator of social change and what just personal reaction to what goes on around us in this changing world. So I wrote this piece to kind of reflect on many different tensions in my life, such as the immigration of my grandparents, because my grandparents immigrated from Palestine to America. During the invasion phase when Israel was taking over Palestine, it was too unstable for them, so they had to leave. And this is my reflection on that, and this is what I will conclude with. I now present the final procrastination. I remember the white linen coating the altar's edge at my 8th grade confirmation, but he remembers black linen coating the faces of Israelites, forcing him, a child, out of his home. I remember the catechist's cold stare as she told us confirmation made it official. We were choosing to be Catholics. He remembers the intruder's cold stare, infused with the hatred of Arabs, especially Catholic Arabs. I remember ashes bestowed on my forehead in the symbol of the cross, those Ash Wednesday masses I was dragged to. He remembers ashes, the remnants of what was once home, destroyed for the cross his family bore. I became an academic through and through after my confirmation, a devout student and intellectual. He became the opposite. He laughed at literature and its attempts to portray disaster. I grew to be a critic, to notice flaws in our country but still appreciate all the while, but comment on these flaws through words. He grew to love America and ignore these flaws, for it was the land of opportunity for him, because home was dusk to a once sunny day. I grew to desire escape, to loathe repetition and yearn for a way out of home. He clung to home's once tangible existence, the rubble that once was wall, the ash that once was a Bible page. My 12-year-old vision sees him as a loving grandfather, a witty man who didn't quite know English, but he made the most out of it. I could still go to ball games with him. My 18-year-old vision sees him as a fallen hero, his limping stride, his stuttered speech, his head bruised from a fall, but his wit still remained. I've been plagued by this thought that I may lose him soon, but he lives his daily life fearlessly, for he knows he will be with the angels soon, him among a choir of heavenly souls, cloaked in white linen, while I will remain a sly, angry poet, just like Milosh, contemplating the nature of forever, not truly understanding God, but remaining intrigued all the while, still believing, not quite living and breathing. He always sought to know God, whereas I always sat back and contemplated. Eventually I might come across the day of my heavenly insight, but you see, that's the difference between him and me. I'll procrastinate. He never did. I'll sit back in this peaceful life where chaos is merely a mirage, contemplating with my pen in hand. He never had the chance to. Peace, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of property, those were his mirages. The mirages of a Palestinian under an Israeli regime. Thank you.
Thanks, George, and thank you to all of our finalists and essayists, all of you. So inspiring, absolutely inspiring. I would now like to ask Ken Bedell, good friend of the Rumi Forum, to come and present Taylor Minor of the U.S. and Christy E. Pernati with their awards. Ken is the Senior Advisor in the Center for Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships at the United States Department of Education. Please welcome Ken Bedell.
Thank you. This is really exciting to be part of this and to even bring you greetings from Secretary Arne Duncan, Secretary of Education here in the United States, who has taken a particular interest in students in America having a we sometimes call a international education or learning a global perspective. And one of the things I've just appreciated about hearing about the essays and all of the young people that receive this is the way that you're looking at an issue from a whole global perspective, that an issue like immigration is one that affects so many countries and so many people that it's just really exciting to see you struggling with it and looking at how we do this from the perspective of global citizens, which is one of the things that I find exciting about the Gulen movement, is that there are schools established all over the world with the philosophy of coming from a particular philosophy about the importance of education and sharing that gift with the whole world. So it's a real honor to be here today, to be able to participate with you, and am honored to be able to see and hear about all of the winners and congratulate you all. And with that, I want to present to Taylor Minor and to Christy Pernati their certificates.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome again to the podium the president of the Rumi Forum, M. Richelik. He's going to present Majabin Hossain Nidhi of Bangladesh her award.
I've already said a few words, but here are a few more. Congratulations.
Now I would like to welcome the president of the Gulen Institute, who hasn't spoken to us yet this evening, I believe, Said Yavuz. And he's going to present Junwoo Jang from the Philippines. Okay, with his award. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Jenna. Congratulations first, but I'm not going to take any credit out of this. I'd like a round of applause to my colleague Hakan Yağcı and other friends who, like Kemal and Alex, who helped us, and our local friends here who helped us a lot in putting this together.
Okay, we have several more awards, but one congressperson has not yet arrived. I'd like to introduce to you Alex Dupree with the Gulen Institute of Houston, Texas, who will give you a little bit of background and picture of the operations of the Institute. Please join me in welcoming Alex.
You know, they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel if they asked me to come up here. But you all heard it before, but to these students, congratulations. Your work is really, really impressive. And hearing you talk to each other throughout the week, we know that you're not all interested in airplanes or dinosaur bones, but these museum trips, and this is just a chance for you guys to walk around together and spend time on the bus and in the hotel lobby, and those are the really valuable connections that you're making here, and it's been really incredible to watch. So thank you for reaching out to each other. Thank you for engaging with each other. I just want to talk a little bit about the Gulen Institute. We're co-hosting this event with the Rumi Forum, but we haven't said much about ourselves. And this is just one of the events that we do. This is at the University of Houston. We host a lecture series, conferences, we fund research, we offer scholarships, but those are all academic programs geared towards professional researchers, professors. This is one of the most important events that we put on during the year. This is where our ideas about conflict resolution and dialogue where we really get to put them into practice and actually bring people from all over the world together. So thank you so much for being a part of it. The quality of your work has really made this a special event, and give yourselves a round of applause. I'd like to invite the coordinator of this event, Hakan, up to this stage to present one award. This award is for Antorayan Raj Pushparaj.
And please join me in welcoming and make applause for Christian Maria Nicola, who comes from Romania and is a student at the Computer High School at Constania in Romania. And Chris, where are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee couldn't be with us this evening. She's very busy. It's a very busy week, actually, as I'm sure you've all witnessed here on Capitol Hill. Several things going on for Congress, and they are very busy. So she, of course, sends her congratulations to all of you, and she, of course, wishes she could be with you. And she is from the great state of Texas, where the Gulen Institute is located. So I would like to now, we have 4 awardees, essayists, left to present their awards to. So Sait Yavuz is the president of the Gulen Institute, as you have heard earlier and know very well, and he will come up and present these last 4 awards with Hakan Yazci. So.
Heather? Is Heather here? Oh, okay. Hakan hocam buraya gel biraz daha. Merhaba. Come on. Jessica? Victoria? Six, Wenho. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for, is it working? All right. Thank you so much for your passion and support and enthusiasm, actually, helping us to organizing this great event, actually, this year too. This is the 4th one. I would like to share, actually, one of the, our projects I mentioned with some of the parents, actually, next year. But I hope, we need the help and support and inputs from you guys also, parents and students, to accomplish and do that project. Actually, I mentioned some of them. We are planning to do or add another dimension to this, youth platform with the project-based, program at one of the countries in Africa. I hope we get approved from the the board, and then if we get also the enough financial support, we are planning to do the projects in Africa, one of the countries we're selecting every year, and we like to take you guys or students for selected from again all around the world, and went there. Instead of just writing the essay, we like to apply and work with the local community and do those projects in those countries. So I hope we can do that next year if we can finish that, set up those, projects. Thank you so much for coming today. And we have actually, Amina Talic like to present a gift to Dr. Gage. I'm not sure, I don't see Dr. Gage. Is he here? He's hiding there. All right, please, Dr. Gage. Yes, Amina, come. Don't be shy. Thank you so much, Amina, for your lovely thoughts. So when do we coming to your home, Dr. Gage, for coffee? We are all tired.
Deeply appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Would you like?
Oh, should we? Come on.
Yes, I want to thank everybody for all of your assistance, but particularly the Gulen Institute in Houston and the work that they've done. As I said earlier tonight, this is the finest model of students interacting with one another. Last year, Jae-woo Jang, as a matter of fact, the brother of Jun Woo's here, started a book where the kids parlayed their own essays about problems, common problems, that exist in the individual countries. In other words, local expressions, which are now going to be anthologized. I just saw the manuscript a week ago. So who knows what these young people are going to do? And I think that someone asked me the other day, I've been teaching for 52 years, and with the media covering the horrible things going on, they said, why are you so optimistic? And it's because I work with youth, because I have the opportunity of being engaged with the Gulen Institute, which I think is the forefront of developing and fostering mutual understanding and goodwill. So before everyone leaves, outside there are booklets about the Gulen Institute. A booklet including the 3 major papers and excerpts from the other papers that the students submitted this year. So I guess this is winding things up, and again, thank you so very much.